That's actually the truth about manifestation, especially in our kind of new age kind of focus. We are like outwardly, projecting manifestation as a certain outcome or as a certain tangible form. But actually the essence of manifestation is to shift your internal reality to the degree to which you're no longer emotionally dependent on your circumstances. That's the essence of manifestation. When you don't need a form in order to feel. So then for you to be now focusing on the feeling rather than the form, I think is actually that's the key. That's absolutely the key. That's how the outward manifestation works anyway. That's why Neville Goddard talks about the wish fulfilled, the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Cultivate that sense of self, that self concept, that feeling and the version of you that's worthy of that feeling, because that's really the reason why it comes and goes, is because we're either giving significance to our circumstance, giving like taking cues from our circumstance as to whether we can believe it or not, right? Or we're just doubting our worthiness of it. If you can recognize the source of that manifestation, which is that internal state, you're free. And then, of course, then there's the patience, perhaps, which is required, and the detachment from the outcome. But at that point, from my experience, it's inevitable that something happens, unless you become so consumed with yourself, in a beautiful way, in the way of self-realization, that you just no longer care about a partner, um, which is that's I would say that's a champagne problem to have, to be so utterly consumed with the love within you that you no longer look for a symbol outside of you. You know, there's worse things. Sometimes we will give ourselves a gift, right? Like we will attract something from a certain level of understanding that seems as though it's outside of us. Um, but it's all leading to the recognition that it's within you, right? So even in the moment of that relationship, you were maybe experiencing it outside of yourself and giving the significance to something outside of yourself, and therefore becoming attached to something outside of yourself, only then to lose that, or for that to leave you, right? Because as everything does, right? Because all forms are impermanent. That's the nature of the world. Everything is constantly changing. There is no consistency. There's no permanence to the appearance of the world. So inevitably, invariably, everything leaves. Everything comes and goes. So then, what remains? What is the source of that experience when that form is no longer present? Do you still have access to the feeling? Do you still have access to the reality? Uh, you know, um, that's perhaps the sort of lesson or the wisdom which is underlying the gift that you gave yourself. Like you would have given yourself a relationship, the experience of love, but when that love leaves you, that form of love leaves you, what are you left with? You're left with the opportunity to recognize the truth of where that love came from. And then doesn't mean that you won't ever get a relationship again because now you've found the truth. Um, but again, like your soul or your higher self is more interested in cultivating the love and the wisdom, which are the currencies of the universe. More so than the forms, which when you die, the forms are gone with your body. To be self-sourced in that feeling, in that frequency, so that when there is a coming together of beings, that it's a sovereign, autonomous, empowered, self-sourced dynamic relationship. Because otherwise, it's energy feeding, it's dependent, it's right. There's a lot to learn, right? There's a lot, and there's nothing wrong with that, because that's beautiful to be able to learn from that experience, just as it is to learn from the experience of creating a business, or it is to learn from the experience of losing money or gaining money or whatever it is. It's all the same thing in essence. Um, but to come together in a container of two self-sourced, self-loving beings, what could be more beautiful than a truly empowered, balanced whole, you know, matrimony or union, to use old terminology. I would say that exactly the way you're describing it, it's to be so full of the feeling that you seek in the relationship that the relationship has no choice but to seek you. Right. So for as long as we are seeking the form, in a way, we're actually resisting the feeling because we believe that the feeling is outside of us. And I think, as you beautifully said, at the essence of whatever it is that we're seeking is a feeling, right? Is the frequency of that reality, which is a feeling. So whether we want money, we want a relationship, we want whatever it is, the feeling of that reality is what we're seeking. Even when it comes to money, it's like we think that we want money, but why do we want money? We want money for the purpose of whatever we want the money for, to do this, to go here, to buy this. What is that feeling? The same with the relationship. Why do we want the relationship? Because we want the feeling of love, connection, intimacy, whatever it is, fun, playfulness, lightheartedness, spontaneity. There's all these different qualities that a relationship can offer. And so those feelings are available to you because they're within you. So indeed, yeah. It's not necessarily one feeling. You can kind of cultivate, maybe it is. Maybe there is more one predominant feeling that you're wanting to cultivate. What if you were to simplify it down into an essence and just make that a practice? Tune yourself into that vibration, constantly, and see what happens, when you're detached from the outcome, when you don't have an expectation of what the form looks like or what needs to happen. If you're just so fulfilled in the feeling, what happens, what unfolds. This is again how it applies to everything, because that's the way the mind thinks, right? The mind thinks that I need to hold on to this, right? I need to like bottle this up, cling to it, right? Because then there's the fear of losing it. But it's all out of ignorance. It's all out of, it's a naivete. It's out of fear. It's out of fear. And that's the realm that the mind exists within. That's the language that the mind traffics in, right? It's like, it's all out of fear. And so then even, and this is where I think it'll apply to everyone in different ways, whether it's money or business or partner or whatever, the degree to which we think we need to hold on to things is where we are revealing to ourselves our sense of insecurity, right? We are revealing to ourselves the fear of where we cannot just be ourself, trust ourself, act on our inspiration. The idea of bottling up love or stowing away money for a rainy day, or whatever it is. Like, it's funny that we have these expressions, right? Like saving for a rainy day. When you unpack that statement, it's like as if there's anything wrong with a rainy day, or as if we that a rainy day can come, and by what we can control within our reality, that we can manipulate our experience to be something better, right? There's all these different ways that we kind of control, our reality. But right in that control is revealing to us where we are afraid, right? Where the fear is, and that's the interesting thing, is to understand the fear, because the fear is revealing the limiting belief. And in the limiting belief is the actual freedom that we desire anyway. Yeah, cultivating the feeling, but it's like that feeling is not apart from you. That reality is not apart from you. So then it's really recognizing an aspect of yourself. And then the more you recognize that reality of yourself, the more the reality that's apparently outside of yourself will reflect the inner reality that you have come to recognize. Because who would not be attracted to someone who is in love? If you are in love, not because you have some form outside of you that you can be in love with, but because you are in love. Who would not be in love with that? Who would not be attracted to that?